Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaivam Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Virehet Nashtaprayeshu Bhatreshu Nitya Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttam Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naishtiki. Hare Krishna. Welcome to this discussion with Srimad Bhagavatam. Today, we will be discussing Canto 1, Chapter 12. The chapter title is Birth of Emperor Parikshit, and there are six sections here. In this last section, which is Shloka number 30 to 36, Parikshit's growth and Yudhishthir's Yagna. This is where we stopped at Shloka number 29. Now we need to discuss Shloka number 30 to 36. So, in the previous discussion, we were looking at how Parishit Maharaj grew, how Parishit Maharaj had different qualities um, which made him suitable to become the emperor of this Bharatvarsha. So that is what we saw. Now let us go to Shloka number 30 and 36 and discuss further. Let's go to the Shloka. स एष लोके विख्यातः परीक्षित इति यत् प्रभुः पूर्वं दृष्टम् अनध्यायन् परीक्षेत नरेश्वरिः. So his son would become famous in the world as Parikshit, examiner, because he would come to examine all human beings in his search after that personality whom he saw before his birth. Thus he would come to constantly contemplate him. This is referring to Parikshit Maharaj, who was protected by Lord in his home. Therefore, he keeps searching for the Lord, that if he could see the Lord again sometime in his life. That is why his name is Parikshit, examiner. So he is in search of personality whom he saw before his birth. So Prabhupada here is mentioning an interesting thing. Srila Jiva Goswami remarks in this connection that every child, if given an impression of Lord from his very childhood, certainly becomes a great devotee of Lord, like Maharaj Parikshit. Therefore, it is important that when the women are pregnant, it is important that they read Prabhupada's books. They should read books like Krishna. They should read Charitra of Prahlad Maharaj, Dhruva Maharaj, and maybe the entire 9 months of their pregnancy, of gestation period, they should complete Srimad Bhagavatam. So it is very important that the child who is born, for his life to be very nice, in material world there is no possibility of a very happy life, but it is possible to give Krishna conscious to the child right from the beginning. This Krishna conscious life is an excellent guidance for a person to lead a good life, so that at the time of death, the person can think of Krishna and go back home, back to God. So right now we see that the impression of Lord Krishna uh, in the mind of Parikshit Maharaj when he was in the womb, that impression has given him right impetus to seek transcendental knowledge at the time of death. In next 7 days, he is going to die, but he is not bothered about anything, but just inquire about Supreme Personality of God. Therefore, it is possible only with proper spiritual instruction to the child when the child is in the home. Before it comes into attack by Maya, child should get knowledge of Krishna. And Prabhupada's books are excellent guides, excellent books for a child, for the mother to read and understand so that the child also listens when the mother is reading the book. So that way both mother and the child will become Krishna conscious. And our major responsibility right now is to distribute Srila Prabhupada's books so that in the difficult times to come, everyone will have a rescue available, which is Srila Prabhupada's books. So one may not be as fortunate as Maharaj Parishad to have an opportunity to see Lord in the womb of the mother. But even if he is not so fortunate, he can be so if the parents of the child desire him to be so. There is a practical example in my personal life in this connection. My father was a pure devotee of Lord, and then when I was only 4 or 5 years, my father gave me couple of forms of Radha and Krishna in a playful manner. I used to worship these deities along with my sister, and I used to imitate the performance of neighboring temple of Radha Govinda. By constantly visiting this neighboring temple and copying the ceremonies in connection with my own deities of play, I developed a natural affinity for Lord. My father used to observe all ceremonies befitting my position. Later on, these activities were suspended due to my association in schools and colleges, and I became completely out of practice. But in my youthful days, when I met my spiritual master, Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Gosai Maharaj, again I revived my old habit, and the same playful deities became my worshipful deities in proper regulation. This was followed up until I left the family connection, and I'm pleased that my generous father gave the first impression, which was developed later into regulative devotional service by His Divine Grace. Here, this Divine Grace is Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati. Maharaj Prahlad also advised such impressions of a godly relation must be impregnated from the beginning of childhood. Otherwise, one may miss the opportunity of human form of life, which is very valuable, although it is temporary life others. So it is very important that we give the right impression to our children. Therefore, everybody must have a set of Srimad Bhagavatam in their home so that the parents can read the book Bhagavatam for their children and grow the children in Krishna consciousness. Okay, let us go to the next shloka. स राजपुत्रो ववृधे आशु शुक्ल इवोदुपः आपूर्यमाना पितृभिः कस्तभिरिव स अन्वहम्. As the moon in its waxing fortnight develops day after day, so the royal prince Parikshit very soon developed luxuriant under the care and full facilities of his guardian grandfather. यक्ष्ययामानो अश्वमेधेन ज्ञातिद्रोहजिहाशया राजा लब्धदानो दध्यौ नान्यत्र करदण्डयो. Just at this time, King Yudhishthira was considering performing a horse sacrifice to get freed from the sins incurred from the fighting with kinsmen. But he became anxious to get some wealth, for there were no surplus funds outside of fine and tax collection. So this is the interesting purport here, as the Brahmanas and Vipras had a right to be subsidized by the state. The state executive head had the right to collect taxes and fines from the citizen. After the Battle of Kurukshetra, the state treasury was exhausted and there was no surplus fund except the fund from tax collection and fines. Such funds are sufficient only for state budget and having no excess fund. King was anxious to get more wealth in some other way in order to perform or sacrifices. Maharaj Yudhishthira wanted to perform the sacrifice under the instruction of Bhishma Dev. So now Here we see that there is a horse sacrifice recommended by to King Yudhishthira Maharaj, King Yudhishthira. In this age of Kali, the sacrifice that is recommended is chanting the holy name of the Lord. Chanting the holy name of Lord. That is one important sacrifice. Second sacrifice is we offer the cooked food to Krishna, and we cook food only to offer to Krishna, and then partake the remnants of the food taken by Krishna. So these are two important sacrifices. So in both these uh, sacrifices, the key sense organ that is involved is tongue. So it all starts with tongue. So slowly we have the disease of material life. We are also affected severely by um, Kali Yuga. Therefore, it becomes important that we um, become Krishna consciousness so that we can go back to God. So we are fundamentally in a disease condition. In this disease condition, um, we need to engage our tongue. So it is like a person suffering from jaundice. So a person who is suffering from jaundice cannot taste anything sweet. But the treatment for such a disease is sugar candy, which the patient eats, uses his tongue and tastes it again and again. Slowly, the disease goes off, and the taste is, the tongue tastes the sugar candy. Therefore, it understands the sweetness of the sugar candy. Same way, we are also in disease condition. So as we engage our tongue in chanting the holy names of the Lord and eating the food given by that tasted by taken by Krishna, we slowly can come out of this disease condition of Kali Yuga and the material world. In addition to this, we need to follow the four regulative principles of no meat eating, no illicit sex, no gambling, and no intoxication. When we do this, then it is having a austere life with Krishna in focus. So, and then we will be able to overcome the sins by engaging ourselves in devotional service of Supreme Personality of God. So that is the most important takeaway from here. We'll go to the next one. Tad abhi pretam alakshya vrataro achyuto choditaha dhanam prahinam ajahu udichyam dishi bhurishara. And understanding the hearty wishes of the king, his brothers, as advised by infallible Lord Krishna, collected sufficient resources from north left by King Maruta. So, like like Yudhishthir Maharaj wanted to do this sacrifice, Prabhupada's wish is to spread Krishna conscious movement all over the world. So we, as his servants, should travel all around the world, all around the places whichever is possible by us, and distribute this Krishna consciousness everywhere, so that every town and village of the world will become Krishna conscious. In every town and village of the world, there will be chanting of the holy names of the Lord. So, like here, like the brothers of Lord of Yudhishthir Maharaj went around to collect wealth, we have to go around the world and distribute this wealth of Krishna consciousness. That will make make Srila Prabhupada very happy. That will make Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's desire of ensure bringing chanting of holy name to every town and village of the world. to reality. So we can be instrumental in making each and every village of the world as Krishna conscious town or village. So we need to take this responsibility. For that, we need to chant the holy name of God, chant 16 rounds, attend Mangalarti, take only Krishna Prasadam, follow the four regulatory principles. When we do this, we get the courage and strength to go around and talk about Krishna and spread the holy name of the Lord and distribute the books of Srila Prabhupada. So it is very important that we have a strong sadhana program in our life, which build us to take up the responsibility of spreading Krishna consciousness all over the world. So Prabhupada here has given a brief about where all people went. So you can see here the success of a particular type of sacrifice completely depends on priest in charge. In this age, all kinds of sacrifice are forbidden because there is no learned priest amongst the so-called Brahmanas who go by the false notion of becoming sons of Brahmanas without Brahminical qualification. In this age of Kali, therefore, only kind of recommended is Sankirtana Yamgina as inaugurated by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You go to next sloka. Tena samvrita sambharo dharmaputro yudhishthiraha वाजिमेधैस्त्रिभिर्भीतो यज्ञै समयजादरिन्. By those riches, king could procure the ingredients for three or sacrifices. Thus, the pious king Yudhishthira, who was fearful after the battle of Kurukshetra, pleased Lord Hari, the personality of God, and Yudhishthira. So here, one important thing is one should take lesson from the acts of Maharaj Yudhishthira. He was afraid of the sins committed on the battlefield and therefore he wanted to satisfy the supreme authority. This indicates that unintentional sins are also committed in our daily occupational discharge of duty. And to counteract even such unintentional crimes, one must perform sacrifices as they are recommended in revealed scriptures. The Lord says in Bhagavad Gita, Yajnartho karmano anyata lokoyam karma bandhana, that one must perform sacrifices recommended in scriptures in order to get rid of commitments of all unauthorized or even unintentional crimes which were apt to commit. By doing so, one shall be free from all kinds of sins. And those who do not do so, but work for self-interest or sense gratification, have to undergo all tribulations occurred from committed sin. Therefore, the main purpose of performing sacrifice is to satisfy Supreme Personality of Godhead Ali. The process of performing sacrifice may be different in terms of time, places, and person, but the aim of the sacrifice is one and the same at all times, that is satisfaction of Supreme Law Hari. So in this Kali Yuga, the main thing that we need to do is chant the holy name. When we do this, chanting the holy names, then you can see here, it is recommended that in Kali Yuga, people engage in glorifying the Lord by chanting the holy name of Krishna. Kirtana Deva Krishnasya Mukta Sangha Parabhajit. Without offense. By doing so, one can be freed from all sins and thus can attain the highest perfection of returning of life by returning home back to Godhead. So there's one more point here. And to save them all, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu propounded the Sankirtana movement or Yagna for all practical purposes. And people of present age are strongly recommended to follow this sure and recognized path. So this is Sankirtana is there, but we need to incorporate in our daily sadhana. So Prabhupada has given a very good sadhana program, which is getting up early in the morning, attending Mangalarti, chanting 16 rounds, eating only Krishna Prasad, follow four regulative principles, read Srila Prabhupada's books at least for 1 hour. When we do this, then our purpose of life is not just living, but to live for Krishna and understand Krishna conscious, the entire purpose of Krishna consciousness, and go tell it to others, so others can become Krishna consciousness. Others can become Krishna conscious. So this way we can spread the movement of Krishna conscious movement all over the world. Okay, let's go to the next loka. अहुतो भगवान् राज्ञा यायायित्वा द्विजयदृपम् उवास कतिचिन्मासान् सुहृदां प्रियकाम्यया. Lord Shri Krishna, personality of God, being invited to sacrifice with Maharaj Yudhishthira, saw to it that they were performed by qualified Brahmins. After that, for the pleasure of relatives, the Lord remained for a few months. So Lord Krishna was invited by Maharaj Yudhishthira to look into the supervision of performance of yajna, and the Lord to abide by orders of his elderly cousin caused the performance of yajna by learned twice born Brahmana. Simply taking birth in the family of Brahmana does not make one qualified to perform yajna. So Krishna actually tells in Bhagavad Gita, Chatur Varnaya Maya Srishta Guna Karma Vibhakasha. So it is not just, but it is the guna and karma, the quality and the type of activity. One must be twice born with proper training and initiation by bona fide acharya. The once born Shyans of Brahmana families are equal with once born Shudras, and such Brahma Bandhus or unqualified once born Shyans must be rejected from any purpose of religious or Vedic function. So Prabhupada is categorically rejecting anything based on birth. Even if they are from the birth, unless they have the right quality and the right kind of work, it is not possible for them to become twice born. They cannot become Brahmas, Dvijas. They cannot become twice born. Lord Shri Krishna was interested to look after this arrangement, and perfect as he is, he caused the yajnas to be performed by bona fide twice born Brahmanas for successful execution. So we need to ensure that um, we are really qualified to take a Brahminical initiation, then only we should take. So the type of work we do and the type of quality we have, that should be properly assessed by us. And then if it fits Brahminical qualities and Brahminical work, then go for Brahminical initiation. Otherwise, taking Brahminical initiation, it becomes something similar to um, like the caste Brahmanas who are not qualified but still claim that they are Brahmins. So this is something which we need to do introspection, and then ask other devotees whether our impression is correct or not. But the first is introspection needs to be done by ourselves. That is very, very important. Unless we are clear, if we take second initiation, it will be a big problem for us. Therefore, it is important we have a proper understanding of what is Brahminical initiation, what is that we will be doing in terms of our service. Are we really qualified for that type of service? Do we have that kind of mood in in us to do Brahminical to take Brahminical initiation, like teach and read scriptures, and that is the major thing. We should not work for anyone. We have to be self-sufficient, depend simply on Krishna for our livelihood. These are some of the important qualities. Samodam Sabasaucham Shantir Argavam Evacha. So we should be very careful before we take the Brahminical initiation. We have to do proper introspection, read Srila Prabhupada's books, and then go ahead with the Brahminical initiations. Otherwise, we'll be just like the caste brahmanas who call themselves as brahmanas, but without proper quality and proper work. Okay, tato rajnya अभ्यानुज अनुज्ञातः कृष्णस्य तः बन्धुभिः तयोद्वारावति ब्रह्मन् सर्गुणो यदुभिर्वृतः सर्जुनो यदुभिर्वृतः I think. O Shaunaka, thereafter Lord, having bade farewell to King Yudhishthira, Draupadi, and other relatives, started for the city of Dwaraka, accompanied by Arjuna and other members of Yadu dynasty. Thus end the Bhakti Vedanta purports of first canto, 12th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, titled Birth of Emperor Parikshit. So, in this chapter, let us do a recap what we have done, what we have seen. So, Saunaka Rishi is after the description of Krishna's departure from Hastinapur and arriving in Dwaraka, the Shaunakadi rishis are inquiring Suta Goswami about Parikshit Maharaj. So, and then Suta Goswami explains the Yudhishthira's exemplary rule, then how Lord Krishna protected the child Parikshit in the home of Uttara. So that is something which uh, is explained by Suta Goswami. Then followed by that, there is a description of birth of Parikshit Maharaj. Once the Parikshit Maharaj is ceremony is called for, there is a very good description of different qualities of Parikshit Maharaj. And then this chapter concludes by explaining the Ashwamedha sacrifice which Yudhishthir Maharaj does in order to counteract the sins that he has incurred in this Vara Kurukshetra. Okay, so we'll stop here now. We will start the 13th chapter in our next session. So thank you very much. Panchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyev च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः ग्रंथरा श्रीमद् भागवतम की जगद्गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय गौर भक्तवृंद की जय हरे कृष्ण